Hello, everyone! Welcome back to another episode of the Useless Corner podcast, where two useless people talk about useless things. I am Mr. Shanman here with Finn, and we are on number 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's only one thing I know that we're probably going to end up talking about today.
Yeah, I have another one, but we probably should start with what you're thinking of.
Yeah. So, um, I was going to say, as many of you may know, but, people in the Discord server would know. Any random people watching, if there is anyone, might not know or care. Bendy and the Dark Revival came out a few days ago, and I was so excited. And I was not disappointed. It was a very great game. And Finn didn't particularly care about the original Bendy too much, but he thought this was a great game, right, Finn?
Yeah, no, I never really got into the original Bendy. I watched Jacksepticeye play the full thing, and that's it. I didn't watch any other videos, didn't look any further into it, and I didn't particularly like it too much. I thought like Chapter 4 was really good, and some other chapters had some good moments, but overall it didn't seem like a very well put together game. Especially, it felt like it lacked story. The original game, but and I never played it myself because I wasn't. I don't buy games because I'm cheapskate, and yeah, but but I really liked the new game. It was amazing. I was with Shan in the call the whole time he played it, and the past 3 days he's been trying to find all the secrets, and I was in all those calls. So
Yeah, I don't think I've been as thorough with a game as I have with this. Not even Security Breach, I was this thorough, I don't think.
yeah, you're pretty thorough. You just weren't like this level of thorough.
Yeah, this level is like I don't know, man. The game was out for 3 days, and I almost have 24 hours of playtime. So like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't I don't have that much playtime on some games I've had for like months.
What is your playtime on Subnautica, actually? Because that's probably the
Oh,
closest.
yeah. The original game it's 84 hours, and the second game is 72 hours. So I got a lot of time on those.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. So, love the game very much. Uh, I mentioned like before we started, I'm uploading videos. All those videos are on the Dark Revival right now. Um, so I know someone wanted to see those. So you'll be able to see them. I don't remember who because my memory's horrible. Um, I'm gonna try to upload one per day, but I might miss just because of how much recording I have. Cause I recorded the whole thing, other than like moments where we thought we weren't getting anywhere in the secrets part. So like there's a lot. Yeah, the entity. It was you. You wanted to see. Anyway, yeah, it's gonna be. I'm gonna try to upload them one per day. Uh, we'll see how well that works out.
Yeah.
But um, let's see. What's the most important thing to talk about with this? Also, we might talk about spoilers. So if you want to avoid those, you should leave. Probably. Oh, what the frick?
what are what are you doing?
What?
I hear like a piano in the background,
I may or may not be at school right now.
bro.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay,
she has the ability to talk because she's the one who actually made the server. So
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just over
she made the server for us
she can go
because
freely.
we were lazy.
I can do whatever I want in the server.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally forgot what I was talking about now.
You're talking about how you're gonna upload it in parts and try to do it every day.
Yeah. I was gonna talk about something else though. I was done with that. Oh, the horror side of things, the scary aspect. Finn.
I
Uh,
poo poo my diaper many times.
yeah, same here. The original game, not very scary. This one, obviously, it stops being scary after a while, just because you get used to it. But, we made the mistake of bringing out Carly,
Yeah.
and it wasn't a mistake. It was a good thing, because it was the first playthrough. I'm glad we got Carly out in the first playthrough. But, dear God, we...
Yeah, the first like two chapters, first two, chapter 2 and 3 is what I meant to say. She scared us so many times,
Oh, yeah.
so many times.
Yeah,
Who's Carly?
really. She's the fourth member of the Butcher Gang.
Yeah.
And just like, man, she made me accidentally cut myself because she scared me so bad.
You should probably specify on your desk.
Yeah, on my desk, not in a bad way. It was like I jumped and I scraped myself and I was bleeding and stuff. So that was yeah. So Carly, the scariest part, definitely. I know some people are gonna be like, "Oh, it was cheap jump scares. It's annoying," but I don't care because it made me poo poo my diaper. So like, good enough for me.
Yeah.
And just overall, they did a lot better with making this game scary because the first game just was not really scary at all. But
Yeah.
this one, even in the beginning, just like when Edgar jumped at you and while you were opening the door, or when Charlie just fell through the roof at the very beginning.
Yeah. Or when you're climbing up and the heavenly toys and Shirley just like ooga booga jumps.
Yeah, that one got us.
Yeah, that one got us. That one got us.
Yeah. Charlie is the tuxedo member
The
of
Piper.
the Butcher Gang. Yeah, the Piper.
Yeah.
And yeah.
The story was so much freaking better than the original. The original, I didn't really understand it at all. It didn't seem like there was too much story until like the end, and even then it was just confusing nonsense. But not only not only was the story like really good in this game, very clear, concise, explained well, but they even
Improved the first game.
they even like explained like what the heck happened with the first game story in the game. So I glad they did that. That was good.
Yeah, because the way that I liked the first game's story. The ending was very confusing, and even after understanding it, it was kind of unsatisfying. They fixed it. It's they made it satisfying in this game by the way they explained it, and I have no issues with the original story anymore. Even though I do feel like they changed what the story was supposed to be like halfway through Chapter 4's development.
Yeah.
And I am curious what the original story was supposed to be, but
Yeah. We should talk about some of the characters.
yeah. Who do you want to talk about?
Porter.
Ah, Porter, the beautiful boy.
Porter's so funny. He shows up for like
A
probably
minute
like,
or two.
Yeah, probably like a minute or two, but I loved him. Yeah, Bobby.
Audrey, no, that name doesn't suit you. I think I'm gonna call you Bobby. And
God.
just when he falls. Porter is beautiful. I was so glad when he showed up in the ending. Just like, hi, Bobby, wee!
Yeah, I love Porter. He's a funny guy. I don't care if he showed for like 2 minutes. I liked him.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he was one of my favorite new characters. Also, Brie wanted to talk about Tiny Bendy, Tiny Bendy, Tiny Bendy.
Oh my god, Tiny Bendy broke my heart. I was so sad when he cried.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if he could potentially at any moment turn into a massive beast and rip my insides out. I hated making him cry.
Yeah. I mean, even after, like, even at when we replayed the game for the, the secrets, I don't know. It's just he's like a different. Even though they're like one and the same, like him and the Ink Demon, they're almost like different characters. They have totally different like personalities. So it's not like even knowing like, oh, this guy's the Ink Demon makes him any less like cute or friendly.
Yeah. Honestly, I gotta wonder if Tiny Bendy even knows that he's the Ink Demon.
I don't know. It's never explained how their consciousness works.
It's like, yeah, no, because like he was scared of the Gent Corporation, which makes sense because they heard him. I mean, that stupid tape that we missed the first time but got in the secrets, where they're like, we got him into his small form just to make sure he can't hurt us. We tortured him for months.
Yeah.
It's just like, why?
Oh yeah, I hate the keepers so much. They suck.
The keepers
They're the worst.
suck.
Like Wilson's creepy and weird, but the keepers are they're just mean. They're so rude. Like even like when Wilson's like escorting us, it's like, they won't bother you. They're like, you disgust us. They're just like so mean. There's not a nice cell in their body. They're just all meanies.
Yeah, no, I hate them. It's funny because at first we were like, oh, these guys are cool. And then we had to deal with them and we were like, oh god, never mind, stop.
Yeah, no, Shen, you said the worst section of the game, not because it was like designed badly, just because it was super annoying. It was the section after Bad Alice with all the keepers, and it's just like a 30-minute, 45-minute stealth mission. That could go wrong
and
at
if you
any
mess
seconds.
up, they two-shot you, or if you're in a hard mode, one-shot you.
Yeah.
If you don't have any health upgrades anyway, if you do, you might survive, but like...
If you have health upgrades,
no.
it's maybe like a 3-shot.
Yeah.
It's still...
And you can't kill them, or if you can, they have an insane amount of health, but I doubt you can kill them.
I think they're invincible, I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure, too.
The
They were just such a fade.
The best you can do is get Big Steve. We need to talk about Big Steve.
We need to talk about Big Steve.
Give him a heart, and then you get the final upgrade, which can stun them, but it only stuns them for like 3 to 5 seconds, and that's it.
Yeah, it's like the Phaz cam in Security Breach after they nerfed it.
Yeah. The keepers are just the worst.
Yeah, really. They have a cool design. Their voice was cool the first time anyways. Afterwards, I wanted them to shut up, but...
Yeah.
I was so glad when I found out while playing hard mode, because I didn't record playing hard mode just because I didn't think it would be that interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, just doing it for the achievement. It wasn't that interesting.
It wasn't interesting. We made like maybe 3 or 4 jokes, and that was it.
Yeah, exactly. So didn't record hard mode, but what was I about to say?
You were glad you could skip cutscenes?
Oh, yeah. I found out you could skip cutscenes in hard mode, and I was so glad because it could make the keepers shut their mouth, especially when in that, like, 3-minute cutscene where you first meet the keepers, and she's like, you're too dangerous, we must eliminate you, blah, blah, blah.
Activate toxic fumes.
Yeah.
The only thing toxic in here is you, bit.
Yep.
You want to keep a shot? Boy, I wonder Wilson was creepy, especially towards the beginning. After a while, he's just weird.
Yeah, no, I don't mind Wilson, honestly. Yeah, you'll see. I even thought maybe they were gonna like pull a trick and be like, he's just weird. He's not actually a bad guy.
No, he's a
And
bad
then
guy.
and then no, he's a bad guy. And once he was like, I need you to help save my father. I was like, you're kind of doing what I thought, but at the same time, I don't believe you.
Yeah, and then he said he lied about all of it. And,
Yep.
So he's just a big fat dirty liar.
Yep, definitely. Wilson, like Finn said in the very first 10 seconds we saw Wilson, Finn said this guy looks like he touches kids.
Yeah, I did say that.
Yeah. He is creepy as heck. But
Yeah, he's
well, he's weird as heck. He was only creepy for like the first few scenes of the game.
yeah, he was creepy
Afterwards, he
at the
was
beginning of the
just
game.
weird.
Once you meet him in Chapter 5, he's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
I still find it so funny that in his stupid mansion he has that ridiculous painting.
The ridiculous painting
of him freaking being like Hercules or some shit.
Yeah, anime shonen hero, just with the massive sword above the ink demon, just like, bruh.
Like, bro, cool your ego. Oh, it's so funny. We laughed at that. Good.
Yeah. All right, you want to talk about Big Steve?
Big Steve. I don't care if he's like he's just a fetch quest to get the final upgrade. I love his name. The fact that his canon name is Big Steve is amazing.
Yep. Also, we missed Big Steve in our first playthrough. We had to get him in the secrets playthrough because
Yeah.
we didn't go through his door, even though we saw the door. And we were like, maybe we should go through there, but then we didn't.
Yeah, we kind of forgot. And we also somehow missed the tape talking about Big Steve. So we missed every single thing to do with Big Steve.
Yeah, we did somehow. So,
Yeah.
anyway, we missed it the first time. The only reason we found out about him is because I saw a Reddit post asking, how do you do Dig Steve? How do you do Big Steve's fetch quest? And I was like, Big Steve? Who the hell is Big Steve? I need to find this out. And they were like, oh, he's in was it chapter 4? He's in chapter 4. And it was like, okay, we need to do this.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he's just some Scottish guy. He's like, I'm big and strong. Everybody loves me. I'm strong as heck. There's this really pretty woman. I think she's eyeing me down the past few days. And then, you see Big Steve. He's the big, massive ink boy who crunches on a heart like it's an apple.
Yeah, his apple heart. Big Steve is a Giga Chad. I agree.
He is absolutely a Giga
He's
Chad.
an absolute unit of a ink monster.
And okay, so when I saw the post mentioning Big Steve, I thought they were just calling him that as a joke, but no, it's his actual name.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Big Steve
Yeah.
was amazing. Also, the fact that he can actually perma-kill you when Bendy's the only other one who can do that.
Yeah, the only the only things that can perma kill you, you don't respawn, is Bendy and Big Steve.
And then Tom just shows up riding Big Steve.
Yeah, we didn't when we first went through the ending with we saw Tom riding this big dude. I almost said this big black dude. That sounds weird, but this big ink dude, and we were like, oh dang, Tom's riding a bull or something. We don't know he's riding.
I was like,
oh
hey, it's the swollen dude from the merch. I was like, we didn't see him at all. That was weird.
Yeah, I think I said Big Chungus or something stupid like that.
I think
we
he
didn't know
did.
who he was, and then we realized once we found Big Steve in his room on our second playthrough, that's Big Steve.
It's Big Steve.
Yeah. What other character?
You were like, oh my god, that's Big Steve.
Yeah. What other characters? There was Heidi.
Oh yeah, there was Heidi. She was all right.
Yeah. Um.
There's not much to say about her because you just play hide and seek with her and then that's it.
Yeah. I have a feeling Bree wants to talk about Tom. Just a hunch.
Yeah, just a hunch.
Just a hunch.
Just a hunch. So, Tom, I didn't care too much about in the original game. He was cool and all, especially when he put an axe through Sammy's head. And despite the fact he only showed up for like 5 seconds in this game, I love him purely just because you can pet him.
Yeah.
It was adorable.
I saw people talking about how Tom is sexist. He like treats Henry like he's garbage, but then woman he simp for.
Oh my god, you're that's not wrong, honestly.
Tom is a simp, yeah.
Yeah, Tom's a simp.
Allison was cool in this game. I like how she was like, I don't know. I think her character was portrayed pretty well.
Yeah.
Because she only got chapter 5 in the last game, and that wasn't really enough. But I feel like she really, even though she wasn't around too often, I feel like she really shined. I especially loved her when she's like, "Ooh, cool, can I have this?" And then picked up Alice's
Just picked up
freaking
the
Tommy
gun.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah. Then she shoots Sammy.
Yeah.
Just like Sammy shows up for like 5 seconds. Just Big Demon rises. It's time to believe. Ow! Gets shot and dies.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, the freaking Wilhelm scream.
The Wilhelm scream. Yeah.
So good.
It was beautiful. Speaking of Sammy, a lot of people are upset that Sammy didn't have a bigger role or the fact that he died so quickly. And we don't get it because like I liked Sammy, but it makes sense why he wouldn't matter too much in this game. And I think his death was funny. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah. Plus he wasn't promised to be in the game at all anyways, so.
Exactly. Like we saw him in the merch, so we had a feeling he was going to be in it somehow, but like we didn't know if he was going to have a big role or anything, so.
Yeah. Alice. Oh boy.
He kind of came out of nowhere, but she was still cool.
You got so
And
annoyed
it
during
made
this
it-
section where she's just shooting you.
And it made a lot more sense the second time we played through because after you talked to Henry, there was a loud banging noise, and we were like, "What the heck is that?" And then it's like, "Oh, that was Alice escaping her cell somehow," but she did it. It made more sense.
Yeah. Alice is very dumb.
She's very stupid. In the first game, she was somewhat smart. Like, she was kind of dumb a little bit, but she was kind of smart. In this game, she's like, "Hello, woman. I want you to die. However, I'm going to ask you to solve the stage order of the first FNAF game, and if you do it correctly, you get to leave."
Yeah, I didn't even realize. Well, neither of us realized the
reference the first time.
Yeah, the reference. We just like solve the puzzle like you would a normal puzzle, and then whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, and then between playthroughs, I saw someone point out it was a FNAF reference, but I totally forgot to tell Finn.
Yeah, and then I figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. I like that they put
It was cool.
a FNAF
I love that
reference.
there was a FNAF reference. That was awesome.
Yeah. What else? What are we missing any characters?
Henry?
Oh, Ink Demon. We didn't talk about Ink
Oh,
Demon.
that
Bendy.
too. Okay, so some people love this, some people hate this. the fact that Ink Bendy has a voice now. I think it was super cool, personally.
I think it was an upgrade and a half because Shane mentioned this, but the original Bendy game, it wasn't even really about Bendy.
Yeah, no, I mentioned to Finn, I love that this game actually feels like a game about Bendy because the first one, like, you deal with Alice for 2 chapters. The last chapter, Bendy barely shows up until the end when he turns into Beast Bendy,
Yeah,
you know? And then, like, chapter 2 was mainly about Sammy. The first chapter, you can't even die.
yeah. But yeah, no, I loved his voice. I think it was cool. Just I don't know. I liked I love his design, his new design as well. I was never really a fan. I didn't find his original design like scary or anything at all. It just looked like, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of boring to me. But I love his new design in the Dark Revival. Was it was really good. I liked it. Big upgrade.
Yeah.
And I feel
I
like the fact that he can speak adds a whole lot more to his character. He was just kind of, ooh, scary monster who can't talk and just exists in the first game. And now he's like, actually has like personality and motive and whatever.
yeah.
Anyways, what you're saying?
What was I saying?
I don't know. I interrupted you. Sorry.
I don't remember. Oh, I was gonna say I didn't mind his original design in the first game, but I do think it was very good the way that he looks in this game. Some people complain that he doesn't really look too much like a Bendy anymore, but I don't think that's an issue. I mean, it's been like 20 years. He's just like full demon at that point, you know? Like, yeah, it makes sense he wouldn't look too much like Bendy anymore. He just looks like a demon.
Yeah. I mean, he's the ink demon. He's not the bendy demon. Well, he is bendy, but that's not in his name.
Yeah.
um,
Also, I have the books. I pointed out stuff from the books to Finn in the very beginning of the game. He didn't know anything about Archgate Studios or much about the Gent Corporation or anything.
I had never heard of the Gent Corporation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very confused when the game started and it was talking about like Archgate and the Gent Corporation. I was like, what the fuck is that shit?
Yeah. Also, we're going to be getting another book they confirmed coming in 2023, so I'm excited for that, even though it's going to be far away. But I'll definitely read it when it comes out.
um, is there anything out? I'm trying to think if there's any other things we missed talking about.
We didn't talk about when Henry showed up.
Yeah. I mean, it was
Although I
cool.
guess there's not
Oh,
too much to talk about
yeah,
other than I thought it was really cool.
yeah. It was kind of cool. That's it. Oh, we didn't talk about Joey. He was like a big character.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Joey. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked well, it wasn't like the real Joey Drew, but you know, the memory of Joey
The
was.
memory of Joey.
Yeah, I liked memory Joey. He was a cool guy. He was. I don't know. I loved like all the lore he was giving out for free. Because it's fine to have secrets, but you gotta. I think they realized in the first game they didn't explain things enough verbally. They left everything up to interpretation for the most part. So
Yeah.
the fact that
And like,
they had
overall the first game's story you could piece together until chapter 5. And then chapter 5 just threw everything that you could piece together kind of out the window, so
yeah. But yeah, no, I really liked anytime Joey showed up because he would like explain things and it was good. Um, The Joey being the father of Audrey shocked me. Yeah, it didn't shock me a lot, but it was like, okay then. Didn't really think about that, but yeah,
I thought she was gonna be related to Henry, not to Joey.
fair enough. I didn't really. I don't know if I thought about anything of Audrey's backstory. I kind of was just like going along with the game, like not really thinking ahead, you know?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about her backstory because, like, why does Wilson want her? Why does she have the picture from Joey's house? You know?
Yeah, fair enough. I think you mentioned like towards the beginning of the game. Maybe I'm wrong. My memory doo doo nuts. But I think you mentioned when you saw the picture at the beginning of the game that she might be the the girl who said, "Tell me another story, Uncle Joey," at the end of the first game.
Yeah. Which wasn't totally wrong.
But it wasn't correct.
It wasn't correct either.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was thinking about Audrey's backstory. I thought Joey was too old to have a kid, you know? Like
Well, that was true.
it was.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. It was. Saw people talking about it. Yeah, it was sad when memory Joey went poof because Benny freaking
Yeah.
killed him.
Yeah, no, poor memory, Joey, man. At least the cycle starts over again. I hope Joey will be part of that cycle.
Yeah.
That way he's not fully dead.
Yeah.
Speaking of that scene though, with Joey getting crushed right beforehand, can I can I just say I love that this game was a bit more graphic than the first. Like it wasn't a lot, but like seeing Wilson get grinded up and Audrey's legs ripped off was cool. Like especially seeing her legs ripped off made me uncomfortable, and that was a good thing.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of gore and stuff and horror things, and I appreciated I appreciated the more graphic details they added.
Yeah, I appreciate gore and horror stuff when it's used sparingly. Cause when it's too much, it's like, you kind of don't believe it too much. But they did it good in this, cause just like you see Wilson get grinded up, and you see Audrey's legs ripped off, and that's like as far as it goes. It was very sparingly used. Overall, the rest of the game wasn't that messed up when it
Yeah.
came to that sort of stuff. So
I,
it
I
made the moments that something did happen like that more impactful, which I liked a lot.
I appreciate it when it's done right. Like, the only example I could use, with that you would know is like, Higurashi. There are some scenes where it's like extra, but like there are other scenes where it's done like super well, that I really like.
Well, the one scene in Higurashi with the gore that really gets to me is when Rika's insides are not in her stomach and Satoko's just stabbing them.
When her insides become outsides.
Yeah, exactly.
Um. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think overall Higurashi does a good job with gore. There are some scenes where it's extra, but that's because they kind of have to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm a gore fan in horror games and anime and whatever videos and yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I there
Which
when it's done well, I like it. When it's not,
yeah.
I don't particularly care too much.
I wish I don't know. I wish FNAF, like the newer FNAF games, since they're completely 3D now. I wish they'd do some like gore things. The closest they've done is like the graphic scenes of the animatronics getting destroyed in Security Breach, like with Chica's eyes popping out of her skull.
Yeah.
That was the closest they've done to it, but
Yeah, and like I liked that a lot.
yeah,
It was like, ew, her eyes popped out.
yeah. I remember actually just recently uploaded a video of us playing the glitch attraction, but go check out Chad Menfit. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
But,
Chad Bedford.
but yeah, I uploaded the video where there was I think I named the video of that part step 4 open back. I appreciate the glitch attraction for getting a little more darker. And
Yeah.
I wish the main FNAF games would do that.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe Ruin will have something since Steel said they're gonna make it dark.
Yeah.
I would be surprised though, since Scott tries to avoid gore, but I would still like for there to be something.
Yeah. At least something that's like super disturbing. I'd take that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we've said everything we need to about Bendy.
I think so. Other than how annoying it is that we can't find Jacksepticeye's tape. We found every tape in the game except for Jack's tape, and that's what made me quit yesterday, because it was like, oh god, we can't find this stupid thing.
We searched for probably like 3 whole hours, not even kidding, for the Sean Flynn
Yeah,
tape
not
in
kidding.
the game. We looked on Reddit, we looked, Shane even went to the hell that is Twitter, and looked like see if anyone had an answer. There's no videos on YouTube that have an answer. Like, we looked everywhere.
Like on the achievements, no one has it.
Yeah, we searched like every nook and cranny, because I went to the wiki and they have the tapes ordered pretty chronologically, and so I figured, okay, it's in chapter 1 somewhere. We searched the entire map of chapter 1. Shan literally crouched around every single crate, box, barrel, broke every barrel open that he could, looked under,
Tried to go out of bounds.
tried to go out of bounds, looked under pipes, looked in an ink fountain for this tape. We couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah. We found the secret that's mentioned in the tape before we found the tape itself, because Finn ended up looking it up what the tape said to see if we could find any clues as to where it is. It mentions the hidden toy that Sean left before he quit working there. We found the toy like 3 hours beforehand.
Yeah, still need to find that damn tape. Hopefully,
Yep.
someone finds it, because we're done looking for it.
Yeah. Also, at the time when we started recording, nobody had gotten the insanity ending legitimately yet, so I was so determined to try to be the first person to get the ending, and while we were recording, somebody got it.
Yeah, it's not confirmed if it's 100% legitimate, but
Yeah, but
It
seems
seems to be.
to be.
Yeah.
So missed out on a chance to be part of Bendy history, but oh well.
yeah. Yeah, we get so close to so many things. We got like 8 out of supposedly 10 memories. No one knows how many there are, because I don't think anyone's gotten all of them yet. Maybe, I don't know. Or no, I think Steam achievements said there was like 0.2% of players that have all the memories. We don't know how many of the what are they called? Illusion of Living books we got, but we got a lot. And then we found all but one of the tapes and all but one of the Meatly cutouts. It was very annoying. We have such a curse with finding all but 1 or 2 of things.
Yeah, and nobody can find the last Meatly cutout either, so
Yeah, we searched like everywhere. Not as thoroughly as the Sean Flynn tape, but we searched like every level pretty thoroughly for that last Meatly cutout.
I ran into every Boris poster I saw. They didn't work. Some of them. The one that I really thought would have the last one didn't.
Yeah. 'Tis a shame. 'Tis a shame.
Yeah.
Okay, we've only been going for 40 minutes. I felt like it's been a full hour.
Probably because we talked about a good amount of stuff.
True. Um, it's almost weird talking about anything other than Dark Revival since we talked about it for 40 minutes. um, let's see here. Also, Shan, did I see you upload something? I got a notification on my phone about your channel or something.
Yeah, I uploaded something.
Oh, you took my suggestion.
Yeah, it wasn't because you suggested it for the views, but I mean, partially it was, but more it was like if it does get views, people might be able to figure out where the last one is.
Yeah.
And also, I'm sure it'll be helpful to people who are looking for it. So,
Yeah, because I saw like two or three like videos uploaded of like hidden immediately secret. They only showed the secret, but they didn't show where they found it. They wouldn't like walk out of the room, and people were in the comments like, "Okay, where is it?" And there's no response. So
yeah,
I felt bad for
I
those
showed a bit
people.
of I showed a bit of where we were before we found it, and just in
Yeah,
case it isn't obvious, I in the description and the comment I gave information.
yeah. No, they were just like in the room. They wouldn't even like the videos I saw. They were just in the room. They wouldn't like walk out and show even like where like the poster was or anything. It would just they'd just be in like the video would start in the room with the Beatley and it would end and yeah. So and I saw the comments being like, okay, could you like give any like indication of where the heck this is? No response. It was I felt bad for those people.
It's annoying when people are like, "I found the secret," no info on how to get the secret.
Yeah, I felt bad for those people. That was the main reason I told you. It was like, hey, I think a lot of people would appreciate this
Yeah.
since like no there's only three videos and they only show like one or two of the cutouts and give no information as where they are at all.
Yeah. I also posted the video to the Bendy subreddit, so hopefully it'll help anyone out there. And hopefully they don't take it down for self-advertising or because they have a rule against showing I mean posting playthroughs, but I this isn't a playthrough. This is to help people, so I hope they keep
Well,
it.
they're not good at moderating it because I saw.
There was a few playthroughs I saw,
Yeah,
so
I saw like one or two.
yeah.
You're probably fine. I'm sure the people will be more than happy to have that video because even on the subreddit, people are struggling to find the cutouts.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope it helps people out.
Doing Lord's work there, Shane.
Heck yeah, man.
um, I did have another topic for the podcast, but it's also a pretty long topic and it's very I don't know. So maybe we save that one for next time and just talk about random things for the rest of this.
All right. Can I know what the topic was?
Oh, it was thank you, Shan. Very cool.
I just wanted to show you.
Yeah,
It is Boris.
I watched horoscope videos on chapter one he uploaded today, so I knew.
Oh, he did? I didn't see those. I didn't get notifications.
Yeah, I didn't either. I was just browsing through YouTube and saw on my subscriptions feed.
Yeah.
um, but the topic was the origin of our series and the beginnings of making them. Remember when I asked you about like
Oh
the origin of Vengeance?
yeah.
I got the idea from that.
Gotcha.
I mean, if we could talk about it now, I don't mind.
We could, but like you said, that might be long. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, we have 15 minutes. I don't think that's enough time. Assuming we're just doing an hour. I mean, if you want to do longer, we can.
I don't care. Uh,
Well, we got nothing else to talk about, so I guess YOLO. Is that
I guess so.
all right? Well, I guess you can just start repeating what you're repeating me, unless you want me to go first. I have three series, so I've done
Oh
another
yeah,
minute
that
of
is
each of
true.
those. Although
Uh,
some of them might be easier than others. Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Phoenix, as you.
Oh yeah, Phoenix. I forgot I misspelled it in the port.
Yeah, for Indigo and Night Trap's port, yeah, it was Phoenix.
Phoenix. Yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry.
It's all good. So you want to go first? You want me to go first? I don't mind either way, honestly. If you'd rather me go first for you to collect your thoughts, I'm fine with that. If you have all your thoughts ready and want to say them, go ahead.
I guess you can go first.
All right. Um. So as everyone knows, or as everyone should know, my first series I made back in March 2019. Redemption. That was a series that lasted a year, literally, because I ended it in March 2020. Well, I guess you could say I ended it in April 2020 because of the epilogue, but I don't really count the epilogue as part of the main series. Would you?
Yeah. Probably not.
Yeah. But so yeah, I started that. I think the original idea was I just didn't really like the way FNAF ended. And mind you, this is when UCN was like the last game, and I thought that was just going to be the end of it. I know Help Wanted was on the way, but I didn't think it was going to be canon at all. I don't think a lot of people did either. But so yeah, I thought the FNAF story ended at UCN, and I was like, I didn't really like that. I want a more satisfying way, and Redemption was going to be that. That was the original idea. I'd kind of thought of that idea for a while, and then Chan released Vengeance 3, and I was like, oh, I really have to do this, and um, I uh, I gathered voice actors, wrote a story, and that's how it kind of started. I don't think I would have actually done it unless Shan, without like the Shan making Vengeance. So Shan making
Fingers.
Vengeance, uh, indirectly is what caused me to make my series. Um, yeah, Redemption really just started out as like, hey, I have this idea for a story to change FNAF in a way that I like. Obviously, it became a lot more than that. I completely separated from FNAF at a certain point. Probably after, like, I think episode 6 is when I started, like, really changing up things. And after that, it was pretty different. Um, but yeah, a lot of the ideas I had were very, like, strange, I'm aware. Like, my original idea was make William a good guy and have him be controlled, and I was like, okay, who's gonna control him? And I was like, who's a big bad guy or like seems to be one in FNAF? And I was like, Nightmare. He seems. I know a lot of people probably thought I just copied Chan's Nightmare from Vengeance, but I always thought Nightmare was like FNAF 4 Nightmare was a cool character, and I thought he. A lot of people were saying he like symbolized death, and I was like, okay, yeah, he's cool. I'll make him the villain. And then I was like, okay, where the frick did he come from? I was like, okay, Shadow Freddy fused with an endoskeleton. Why Shadow Freddy? Because I always took Nightmare as like Nightmare Shadow Freddy instead of just recolored Nightmare Fredbear. Yeah, that was the original whole idea. Other things like Luminosity was added in later, just as a. I don't even know why I added in Luminosity. I'll be honest. I think I just wanted another character, and that was it. I that's Necrosis again. I was kind of just a random idea. He wasn't as random as Luminosity. I think Luminosity I added in as a random, like, because I wanted a new character and because I wanted Henry involved somehow. So yeah. Um, and Necrosis, I had a more concrete idea. I knew he was going to be like the bigger mastermind behind things. Um, Even though he was not executed very well at all, that was the idea. He was going to be like the big mastermind, pawning everyone against each other out of anger. He was stuck in this void and he wanted to be free. He was going to have a much more concrete him getting free thing than just Quasar opens a portal, he's free randomly, and teams up with Luminosity. That was not the original plan. I don't think I even told you that before, Shan.
Probably not.
um, Obviously, Grim Foxy was not originally part of the plan either.
Yeah.
Hey, I just felt bad for Michael because I kind of like screwed him over. He didn't do anything. I was like, let me give him a second chance. He didn't do anything after the episode that I revived him in.
Yep.
Yeah. So, whoopsie daisy. There's a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes with Redemption. I didn't know what I was doing, but it's okay because what's done is done. Obviously, the most random thing was Quasar and Galaxia. I don't know why I added them, but I'm glad I did. I don't remember why I thought it was a good idea, where I got the
I think
idea.
you had told me at the time you just wanted to come up with some sort of higher power similar to Vengeance.
Maybe. I that might be it. I don't know.
I don't fully remember. Because I remember we were like, that kind of came out of nowhere. What was that about?
Yeah, no, they were out of nowhere because I quite literally came up with them out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't. I really. Oh, yeah. I think you might be right. I did. Because I know Galaxia was definitely supposed to be like a higher power. I kind of symbolized that when I first showed her with all the, like, the plushies of the characters.
Yeah.
And then Quasar was like the opposite of her. It was kind of trying to screw up everything she was doing. So, yeah, very random characters. They didn't really matter, or they did matter, but they didn't really like do anything in Redemption. But hey, none of my other series would have happened without them. Pulsar would not exist, and then Phoenix would not exist. So, yay! And Realm of the Forgotten.
No, I don't want to not exist.
And Realm of the Forgotten obviously would not exist either, because the whole first episode, the second cutscene is them going in. That was the original idea. Is okay, they got thrown somewhere else. Whoop-de-doo. And then I built the story around that.
Yep.
So yeah, even if Quasar and Galaxia were useless in Redemption, none of my other series would happen without them. So, yay for that, I guess.
Yay.
Phoenix. I created Phoenix because I failed with Corrupt Cosmos. That is, for those of you who don't know, Corrupt Cosmos was going to be the sequel to Redemption, and then I canceled it because I A, didn't feel motivated, and B, didn't think I could pull off the scenes I wanted to because they were too much. Yeah. So it got canceled, and then I decided, okay, I'm going to summarize that in an epilogue, and then I'm going to start on Phoenix. Phoenix was supposed to be the sequel to Redemption, but it kind of just became its own thing, and I forgot it was like tied to Redemption all half the time, other than the stuff with like Nightmare, Clay and William.
Yeah.
I forget even like Necrosis was part of Redemption sometimes because he's so different.
Yeah, fair enough. And the one time that you kind of had a reference to redemption in Phoenix after all that was when Luminosity showed up in Hazy's
I
nightmare.
totally forgot that was a scene, like, at all.
Cookies and cream Luminosity.
Cookies and cream. Forgot that. Yeah. Phoenix. The reason Phoenix is the way it is because I wanted to make. Because all the different series, they all had, like, humans tied in, and there was, like, people around. It's like, okay, what if I make this on, like, an alien-like planet where all there is, like, big monster creatures? And that's what I did. It didn't really affect the plot too much. The only time it did is when, like, there's random creatures attacked, and then obviously Malachi, Jackson, Cedric, who all died. Tragic death. But yeah, that was the original idea I based it around. Other than the fact that, there was Ruby. She was, neglected by Etheria, blah, 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 blah. She was going with Necrosis to do some magic and make things right. Pulsar's going to help William kill Clay if William helped him. And, yeah. And then, yeah. So, I had a very basic idea of the story to start out with, and kind of just went from there. But that's the whole story of Phoenix. Not anywhere as interesting as Redemption, but that's mainly because it's a sequel, so to speak. So, of course, it's not going to be anywhere as interesting as backstory.
Yeah.
Realm of the Forgotten. Shan, do you even remember what started the whole talks of Realm of the Forgotten?
You decided you weren't going to do the Redemption remake series,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't feel like working on Phoenix at the time, and I showed you V-Roid Studio, and you decided I want to make anime series.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And if you remember, Hitori was supposed to be a Fiddle Redemption remake, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
you did like half the modeling
And Sylvie was
already.
too.
Yeah. I don't remember anything about either. I just remember.
It's weird to
that
think
they
that
were-
Sylvie was supposed to be part of that.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about that. I'm pretty sure she was like really a different character with a completely different design, though, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was just the name that was the same.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember. Yeah, Hitori's design was originally for that, and then I was like, well, Shan, you got halfway through modeling it. I'm not gonna scrap it because I ain't about that. I'd feel bad. So let's just use this, and it worked out.
Yeah.
The Realm of Forgotten story, I started writing it, like Shan said, because the Redemption remake, I was planning that for like a few weeks, and I was like, that's not, I'm not about that life. And so, I don't remember, like, the exact story writing process, like how I came up with all these characters. I don't even remember, like, the original idea for the story. I know it's, like, a lot. It was super basic and nothing like what I had now. I know the episode 1, like the beginning of the episode 1 script was kind of basically all I had. Like, I think the original story was, like, all I had was, like, Riku is king, there's Sylvie, they're dating, yeah. He's in charge of this town that's on the other side of a freaking, that has like a history of Oblivion's other end of his black hole, just popping people out in there, and yada yada yada. But that hasn't happened in like millennia, so it was surprising that these two showed up. And Akira was a god, and she's against Tori, and Tori wants this thing called the Heart Shard. I don't even think it's called that in the current version of the story, and then it's supposed to be like a doomsday device kind of thing. Blah, 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 blah. They have to protect it. Guys and Galaxy have to set aside the differences, and yeah, that was all I had of the story. I'm not even kidding. When I made the first trailer, the one in October, that is all I had of the story. That's why it was called the concept trailer.
Yeah.
And then by the time I made the actual trailer, the lore trailer, which I still actually like that trailer to this day, because there's actually a lot of hidden secrets that no one will figure out until later.
Yeah, you've mentioned that.
Yeah, I'm very excited for when people start connecting the dots, but that won't happen until like probably episode 3 or 4. Because the next episode that I'm working on, well, I haven't started yet, but next episode 2, is a lot like the first episode, where it's just kind of like setting things up and nothing's super serious yet. But by the time I made the lore trailer, I had definitely had like a concrete idea of the story, and it's the same version of the story now. It's just, added on to a bunch. But I had the basic whole plot in mind by that point, and it is the same plot I have to this day. So yay, I finally have a series where I don't change everything.
Yay!
I don't think there's much more I need to say. The only interesting thing I could say is, if you remember in the concept trailer, Mizuki was nowhere to be seen at all. And that's because I had not come up with her yet. And in fact, she was not supposed to be like the Mimi was in it, and she was supposed to be like just a random household maid side character, and I didn't like her model because it was kind of whatever, and so I scrapped it and made Mizuki, who was supposed to be in like a maid, but then made her more interesting. And then I used Mimi's model for something else, as you could clearly see.
Maid.
I used Mimi's model for her to get shot. I literally just used her model as, because God, yes, porting is a long process, and I didn't feel like making a whole other model, so it's like, you know what? This character's gonna die in 2 seconds anyway. Why not just use that model? And so that's why you've seen the concept trailer Mimi and think, oh, yeah, she's gonna be a character, and then she just dies instantly the second you see her. So if you were curious about that, Shan, or anyone else who's listening, that's why.
Isn't the model name for her?
Mizuki. It's just
Yeah.
Mizuki. That's because originally she was supposed to be Mizuki, and then I was like, the new V-Roid.
Yeah, I
New
thought
V-Roid
so.
is out. New V-Roid's out. Gonna remake the model a lot.
I had meant to ask you about that, but I kept forgetting.
Yeah, no, that's why. Because the new V-Roid came out, and I was like, wow, I can make this model that I don't really like the design of good and more custom and the way I wanted it to look. And sure enough, that's what I did.
That maid.
Exactly.
That maid.
Yes, cat made. That is exactly what I wanted, and that is what I made. But yeah, that's why its name is Mizuki, because that was originally what Mizuki was supposed to look like, and then I was like, well, just reusing this model for something else, because I remade the model.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Just kind of, yeah. I remade Sylvie's model as well, if you remember that.
Yeah, I remember
That's why
that.
Sylvie's model is a Sylvie V2, because the original one. Yeah. No, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I mean, they look pretty similar, but the new one is more of what I had in my head of what she would look like. So
Yeah,
that's fine.
gotcha.
I don't think there's any other backstories, any other characters that I can really say. Other than the fact that I changed Akira's model like 2 days before I premiered the episode and had to redo every scene with her.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says about the animation quality of the series or whatever. First of all, it's an anime, so it's gotta look like that for it to be accurate, you know, man. And second of all, you gotta give me props. I redid every freaking scene 2 days before the premiere because I changed the model's design. So,
Yeah.
that's good. That's commitment, all right.
Yeah, that is.
Because originally I was gonna take the lazy road and just say, "Oh, design, do the fat dream."
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, that's enough about me talking. Shan, go ahead.
Uh, well, you see, Vengeance came about because, if you guys remember, there was a video on my channel called Sweet Dreams Collab. It was with two people, and neither of them did anything that they were supposed to do for the collab. So the story that I wanted to portray got absolutely screwed and shafted, and I put zero effort into my part pretty much because it was pathetic. Anyway, I was like, okay, I'd like to make a sequel that actually has a story the way I wanted it to be. And then Night Cove released again, and I was like, oh, this song is perfect. So that's how Vengeance 2 came about, and at the time it really was just Sweet Dreams 2. But then I was like, okay, this is fun, I want to make more. And I was like, well, I don't want it to just be my interpretation of the FNAF story, because that's kind of boring, you know? Like, and then I was like, coming up with ideas while I was gone. Not and when I was gone, I mean when I wasn't home, because I was at my great grandma's house, and I drew the very first concept of Nightmare and Phantasm. It was Phantasm was named Shadow back then, and after that I was like, okay, well, Shadow Freddy, you know,
Shadow
why
the Hedgehog.
Shadow the Hedgehog. So why do these guys matter? And I'm like, okay, well, I gave this guy tears. The puppet has tears. Charlie has tears. It's Sammy from the books. Boom! He finally gets some spotlight because everybody forgets he exists.
I sure did until Vengeance.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, but what's Nightmare got to do with anything? And then my original thought was, he's a demon.
The Demon Lord.
Yeah, the Demon Lord Nightmare.
Why are you working at McReynolds, Satan?
You're my hero, Satan. Satan Nightmare got scrapped pretty quickly, but Dream was meant to be the angel. So, yeah. Those got scrapped very quickly. You know, Henry, I always knew he was gonna be a suck of a father. What happened with him was a little, not a little different, a lot different, though. I can't really say anything, though, since you don't know what's actually happened, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then Genesis just existed because it was like, someone needed to create Nightmare and Dream. Genesis, God, boom. Genesis didn't do anything in the original version. Genesis was just like, I'm a head out, and that was it.
I'm gonna go get my cigs. See ya.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, most of the changes come down to Nightmare and Dream, really, and Genesis. I came up with the original version of Vengeance. When I say the original version, I mean like the version that 3, 4, and 5 were within a week. And I decided, oh, Nightmare's not gonna be a demon. He's just gonna be a bad guy, but he's not gonna be really a bad guy, because something I had really liked at the time was Avengers Infinity War came out relatively recently, I think. And something I liked about Thanos was like, he's a bad guy, but you can understand why he's doing what he's doing, or why he feels like he has to do what he's doing, even if you don't understand it. And that's where I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that with Nightmare. And then I was like, okay, so maybe Dream should be the real bad guy. And I was like, no, 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 no. I don't want her to be the real bad guy. She kind of sucks, but she's not like bad person, And then I was like, okay, Dream has to hate Nightmare for some reason. What would the reason be? Originally, the reason was Nightmare made Sammy kill himself. And then I was like, okay, well, that wouldn't really work in this version of the story anymore, because Dream's not an angel anymore. So
Yeah, so like, why would she care about this random kid
yeah,
that died?
why would she care? And then I was like, well, Genesis disappeared. What if she thinks a Nightmare killed Genesis? Boom! Problem solved. Genesis has plot relevance and doesn't have to show up again. But then I ended up changing my mind, because I was like, man, Genesis really got the short end of the stick here. I should have him come back somehow. And that's why Exordium exists and Genesis talks to Chris and 2R and stuff. Dream is the character I had the most trouble with, trying to figure out what the frick she should be. You can tell if you look at, like, Vengeance 4, she kind of just seemed like a creepy bad guy at first.
Yeah.
And then in Vengeance
with the
5...
4 seconds she talked.
Yeah, the 4 seconds she talked. In Vengeance 5, it's revealed that she's not fully a bad guy, but I had to, like, explain who she is and stuff, and that just made her whole scene very awkward. Vengeance 5 just got scammed every step of the way.
Yeah.
See, like, Vengeance 5 was supposed to be, like, twice the length that it is. There was a whole section with Charlie and Springtrap when Springtrap first got spring locked. There was Molten Freddy and Charlie having a scene. Molten Freddy would go look for Chris. There was going to be the scene where Chris first discovered he could create things in the spirit realm and all that, blah, blah, blah. That all got cut because my girlfriend at the time, who voiced Charlie, abandoned me, but also because her microphone sucked. And
Abandoned me, but also because her mic died.
Yeah, but no, it's funnier to go with the first option.
Yeah.
Molten Freddy just didn't work out because, we needed Charlie for that. And then Chris's scene would have just been a waste of time without the context from Charlie and Molten Freddy's scene. So, like, half the episode got cut.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why the stuff with Dream feels rushed is because I was trying to get the episode out before the end of the year, just because then I could be like, 3 episodes in 1 year. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
Overall, Vengeance 5 got scammed in pretty much every way possible. So it's a good thing it's going to be remade someday.
Yeah. It really needs the remake.
Yeah, really.
For as much as I loved 4, also needs it.
Yeah. But at least as much as 4 needs it, you still... I feel like I can appreciate 4 for what it is. With 5, I just want to die.
Yeah, no, I mean, like... 4,
Other than the song portion's okay.
4 and 3 have issues, and, aren't the greatest animation, like, quality-wise, but, like, at least they're, like, kind of what they're supposed to be. 5 just didn't cut it.
Yeah, no, 5 had so many problems.
5 wasn't even what it was supposed to be. 5 was just half of what it was supposed to be.
And then that half got rushed.
Yeah. Bree, you're back.
Yo, Bree!
Bree, you might have missed us explaining the origin stories of all of our series.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry. If you have time,
At least you'll get to watch the episode when it's uploaded.
Yeah. I'll
The
try.
podcast episode.
Yeah.
When it's uploaded.
I'll try and trying to edit it tomorrow. Hopefully upload it tomorrow as well.
Yeah. On the topic of remakes, Finn, since you've seen part of 3R, is there anything you'd like to tell people to make them think I'm doing a good job?
It make me not. No, but in all seriousness, I got a super secret little preview of 3R, and it's very good. Lighting, freaking amazing, best I've ever seen from Shan. Movement, same deal. There isn't really much to say. Other than like the attention to detail is really good. I think the first three. Well, I guess there's first four. I sometimes forget the original two was even part of Vengeance, but
Enough.
the first the episodes that don't have an R next to them, all of them didn't really have
Also,
any real...
Bree got to see the super secret preview as well, so that's why she said that.
Yeah. But they didn't really have much attention to detail. They had a lot of like not many sound effects where there should be some. There is just everything was just kind of, I don't know. There was effort put in, but there wasn't effort put into like detail, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like everything was there, but there could be some things that could be like tuned to make it better that just weren't there. And I feel like you made a lot more effort in 2R to be a lot more detailed with things, and I think 3R does it even better. It's like, you know, the posters hiding, the plushie shelf, although that was there in the original 3, but it looks nicer and better now. I don't know, just the lighting, like casting off of like actual, like, you know, the lighting has more logical sense to it. I don't know. Textures being made specifically for one scene only.
Yeah, I did that. It may be considered a waste of time overall, but I did it because if I told Finn anything about this, I'm going to put in as many details as possible just so that it looks more professional, and hopefully people will like that.
I'm not judging you because, Shan, if you remember in Realm of Forgotten episode 1, when Galexia's stomach rumbles, I made a eye texture specifically for that one scene, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I get
also,
you, man.
the texture that Finn's talking about, by the way, is when Lefty attacks Michael in this. In the original, Lefty kind of just went and choked Michael. In this, Lefty actually attacks Michael. I made a whole texture specifically for a bruise where Michael got hit, and also there's some blood coming out of his nose.
Yeah. You can't really see the blood coming out of his, but you
can't
see
even
the
see the blood,
bruise.
but yeah.
So yeah, attention to detail, very epic.
Also, something you'd probably say I've done better on is explaining things.
Oh yeah, no, me and Shan took an entire call one time for me to like point out everything in 3 that I felt like could have been better or explained better, and Shan either.
The good news is I already had most of it.
And there's like 1 or 2 things that he was like, okay, I'll remember that.
Yeah, like Fredbear and Phantasm watching and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I could definitely, I can vouch for Shan in that he is a lot better with explaining certain things and not just thinking in the mind of someone who doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
Because I honestly, that's one of the hardest parts about animating a story is thinking in the mind of someone who has never watched this before. I had to do a lot of that with Realm of the Forgotten just because of Galaxia and Quasar. But thankfully, people who had never watched anything of mine before had said they understood everything. So I'm doing that right. Shan's doing that right. Yay for us.
Yay.
Anything else you wanted to say, Sean?
Uh, I don't think there's really anything else that I could say about Vengeance. Aw, thanks, Bree.
Thank you, Bree.
But I don't think there's anything else I could really say about Vengeance without, like,
Yeah.
spoilery stuff, so.
I would ask about, like, other characters, but the only, like, 4 original characters are Phantasm, Nightmare, Dream, and Genesis, and you already talked about the latter 3, and Phantasm is just Phantasm.
Yeah.
You either already know what you need to know, or what you don't know, you're not supposed to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's been an hour 20. I think it's about time we wrap up this up.
Ick.
This
I guess
was-
I could technically say stuff about, like, the Blue Knight and Starry Nights, but...
Oh. Yeah, you didn't really explain how you came up with those.
Okay, so Starry Nights, very similar to Vengeance. One night, I just drew a mask, and I was like, I want this to be a character. And then I just came up with the whole new series. Both of them started with me drawing a character. And, also with Starry Nights, I was like, okay, Genesis really doesn't get to do too much in Vengeance. Starry Nights will be the sequel to Vengeance and have a bit more to do with Genesis and stuff. Which, the 2 main villains in Starry Nights exist because of Genesis. So, yeah. Can't say too much on that because, you know nothing about that, so I can't spoil too much about that.
Yeah.
The Blue Knight, it's easier to talk about because the Blue Knight is...
For funny story.
It's more silly. Like, it gets a bit more serious later on, but overall it is funny.
Yeah.
So.
Comedy fantasy anime.
Yeah. Which, funny enough, the Blue Knight, how I came up with that, started not funny at all.
Yeah.
So, we had a past group. We don't have that past group anymore. I originally wrote the Blue Knight as a way to vent my frustrations about that group and everything. The original story of the Blue Knight is very, very different from what it is now.
Yeah.
I think, Finn, weren't you the only one who saw the original version? Or am I misremembering?
In terms of people we know now, yes, I'm the only one who's seen that version.
Okay. Yeah, that version was
Pretty dark.
kind of depressing. Yeah, the original version, Blue was, like, trapped in a labyrinth, and all the monsters attacking him had names on them, and it was just reminding Blue about stuff that made him sad and everything, and all his friends kind of left him, and he had to fight Dark Blue, who represented his own inner demons and everything, and yeah. So that was a lot different.
Yeah. Sounds like a cool game concept.
Yeah, it does.
Anyways, but the current version, how did that come to be?
The current version, I was like, okay, I like these characters. I don't want to keep the original version of the story for, the actual series, because that would be depressing.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, okay, let's go the exact opposite. This thing is going to be funny. Funny as heck. And then I was like, okay, what characters should I abandon? Goodbye, orange. You've always been my least favorite color. And overall, I just kind of stared at Ninjago, because I love Ninjago, and I was like, yeah, we're going to take inspiration from this. These guys are going to be knights because they feel like it. They just want to be knights. However, they're going to absolutely suck at it, because that's hilarious. Then I was like, okay, there needs to be at least one character who guides them along the way. A Sensei Wu type character.
Quest
Master. What's Quest Master gonna do? He's gonna hate his life because he has to deal with these idiots.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, so it's funny overall. There still needs to be some sort of actual story here. I'm gonna keep Dark Blue, and the story is gonna be that they have to find this ancient crystal thing that has the ability to bring out the worst in yourself if you touch it. And of course, they touch it, and that's where Dark Blue comes in. So it still has some of the theme of the original, but it's not as serious.
Yeah.
Dark Blue is just a clone of Blue, but it's all his bad parts. So, and that's all I can really say, because I could talk about like Grubert or Gooby, but like, why would I talk about them?
Gooby and Grubert.
I could talk about Guild Lady, but all there's is to say is that Bree voices her. That's it.
Yeah.
And I can't say anything about Purple.
Gooby and Grubert. I still love how I auditioned for those guys, or it was just Goblin as a joke. And, you didn't believe it was my voice at first.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
And then you
So
just
there's not
gave me
much
the
more I
role.
can say about that. Yeah, because it was just like, wow, okay. You win. No one else here is going to be able to beat that.
I am the best goblin.
Yep. Oh yeah, and then there's Birdie. I still didn't choose a voice for Birdie, did I? No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Overall, Blue Knight's just gonna be funny. There'll be some happy moments. After you get further in, it'll be a little bit more depressing, just because Dark Blue is the bad parts of Blue. That can't stay funny, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't remember what I even made Grubert sound like. I know he's like,
Lick my toes.
yeah, lick my toes. I know Gooby's like, what's the line of Gooby's?
Something about him not being ugly and then running away crying.
Verbal not ugly.
Yeah, there it is.
The first live Gooby voice.
Yep.
God, it killed my throat doing those lines.
Yeah, I would imagine.
All right. It's an
Also, the last thing I can say about the Blue Knight is when it does eventually come out, it's probably going to be a long time because I'm going to release 2 episodes like a week apart. So, the 2 pilot episodes. I would love to do it the normal way I do, but if I just ended the first pilot episode and you had to wait months for the second one, no one would care. So, that's why they're going to be released like a week apart and probably going to take 20 years to actually make.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
Yeah, but I think that's it.
All right. Well, this podcast has gone on for almost an hour and a half. So let's end it here, shall we?
Actually, not as long as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Thought it was going to be close to 2 hours.
No. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. The people listening on YouTube, make sure you like and you subscribe and comment if possible. I'm probably gonna put a time stamp in for when we're done talking about Bendy, so the people who don't want to listen to that can listen about our series. Cause yeah. If I don't, yell at me. Don't actually.
Alrighty, Bree.
But yeah, thank you for tuning in, and see you in the next podcast. Bye bye.
Bye bye. A glizzy a day keeps the Shanman at bay.